Hey, welcome back to Wild Mind, Rooted Heart. I'm Christine, and this is a space for the overthinkers, the deep feelers, and the people just trying to understand themselves without completely exhausting their nervous systems. And if you're someone who's been enjoying these conversations, you can follow the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. I'm really building a space here for people who think and feel deeply, and you are always welcome in it. Now, let's talk about the weird parts of being human. Today, we're talking about something that I think people are starting to realize more and more. Emotional intelligence is actually one of the most attractive traits someone can have, not just in relationships, but in friendships, conversations, even just the way someone exists in a room. You can feel it. The difference between someone who is emotionally aware and someone who isn't. And once you experience it, it's really hard to unsee. I remember hitting a point where my definition of attraction started shifting. It stopped being about surface level things and started being about how someone made me feel emotionally. Could they communicate clearly? Could they handle discomfort without shutting down or lashing out? Could they take accountability? And I realized something. What felt safe started becoming what felt attractive. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand your own emotions, recognize emotions in others, respond instead of react, and communicate in a grounded way. And the reason it's so attractive is because it creates emotional safety. You don't feel like you have to walk on eggshells. You don't feel like everything is unpredictable. And you don't feel like you have to decode mixed signals. It's clear, it's steady, it's calm. Before my healing journey, my standards used to be, do they like me? Now it's more like, can they regulate themselves, communicate clearly, and not send my nervous system into a full spiral? Both really said, let's raise the bar from survival to stability. A lot of us didn't grow up seeing emotional intelligence modeled consistently. So we learned to normalize poor communication, emotional shutdown, and unpredictability. And sometimes we even confuse that with attraction because it felt familiar. But as you heal, your nervous system starts craving something different. Not intensity, not chaos, but consistency. I'm still on the search, on the hunt, romantically, but I have a lot more relationships in my life, friendships and things that do follow more down this path as of my life and my path and what ways I'm feeling called to go, because we are all here to do something different. I do find how little patience I have with people that lack emotional intelligence, because we are in an age where there is so much information out there. There's really no excuse for you not being able to be a decent human being, to be considerate of how other people may be feeling, and understand that not everything is about you, right? Like, your feelings do matter, you your needs do matter, but I do think there's a broader variety out there that are more so self-serving than helping to serve others and be supportive of other people. And as someone who had taken a few years off dating after my last relationship, I have dabbled in the waters here and there over the last few years. I remain hopeful, but since I've shifted and deconditioned a lot of things that are placed in us. I mean, I hear kids now at 3 years old being like, "Oh, you're gonna be my wife, marry me." Like, it is planted so early. And then in the things that kids take in or the things that we do and how their life is set up. Like a lot of people do have two parents. I didn't have that. So I didn't really, I've had a weird relationship with marriage. I still am like, I would love to find someone to share my life with, but they would definitely need to have and be emotionally intelligent. I've learned that about myself. That was somewhere I sacrificed a lot because I didn't know what that really was growing up. I was so used to just erratic behavior, and that's how I thought things were supposed to be and how relationship or love is supposed to be experienced. And I always felt like that was it's just so interesting because I always felt like that was wrong. It never felt right, but it was what I knew. So when I was going out in the world and meeting people, and if someone felt too calm or they felt too, and not to say I didn't try in the past to date those kind of guys, because I did, but I would just be spiraling because I was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't feel calm around another person, especially in a romantic relationship. I'm supposed to be able to, they're supposed to not have chaos all the time. Like, and now I'm like, I don't want any type of chaos. Like we can where I am willing to work through things with somebody, but I'm not doing it for you. And no longer am I being an emotional punching bag for somebody. It's just not necessary. Get out there, read a book, listen to podcasts, like educate yourself. Help make the world a better place by you being a better person. There's a book that I read that I believe every single human being should read, regardless of if you had a great relationship with your parents or not, because of the title. But it's Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And in the book, it's not just about your parents. It's about understanding other people around you. That is like a book I actually feel like I might want to read again. I've read it twice now. When I first read it, it was just so much of this has been like so validating for me. Everyone should read this book. It helped me find space within myself to have more patience, not only with the adults, right? Because I was just more so reading it from in my experience to, yes, better understand, because I've had a fixation, as most traumatized people do, with psychology and trying to understand why and how things happen the way that they did by the people that harmed you. I now know that it's not my responsibility. I was a kid and all those things. But that book was very helpful. I read the book The Body Keeps the Score, another really good book. Another book that I read was Will I Ever Be Good Enough? Healing the Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers. Another amazing book that was very helpful for me. Just to understand that there really was nothing I could do. As much as I tried to sit there and be the peacekeeper between my mom and my stepdad, even though I was the scapegoat and the target that they took every and anything out of, still, no matter what, tried to find a way for all of us to live cohesively, like to find peace. You know, and it's unfortunate that they didn't have the emotional intelligence to support what they had taken on by going from each having two kids to then having four and then five because one was on the way. It was beyond overwhelming for me. And I can see how that unraveled both of them. And that's why these conversations are so important because we all do the best we can with what we know at the time. But in the day and age that we're in now, there's really not an excuse for not being able or trying to be a better person for you, if you have for your kids, for your partner, for your future partner one day, if you're single now and you're like, what am I going to do while I wait for a person? Work on you, pour into you. The more that you do that, this is what I believe, the more that you are able to do that, the better you are at having the luck of finding someone that is aligned with where you're going. Someone who hopefully is able to grow with you. You guys can grow together. That's a very important thing. I think a lot of people meet each other at a point and then expect things to stay that way or those people to stay that way forever. But I don't know. I think it's okay so that works for some people, but other people it doesn't. And so you really just need to know yourself and how you are, having the emotional intelligence for yourself. And I want to start including some statistics in these episodes because I think it's also fascinating. So, research suggests that emotional intelligence is a primary driver of interpersonal attraction and relationship satisfaction. Studies consistently show that people with high emotional intelligence are perceived as more socially desirable and trustworthy partners. According to research by Dr. John Gottman, high emotional intelligence in men is a top predictor of long-term relationship stability, reducing the likelihood of divorce by up to 80%. 80%. A study published in Personality and Individual Differences found that participants rated potential partners significantly higher in mate value when they displayed high levels of empathy and self-regulation. Data shows that 90% of top performers in the workplace have high emotional intelligence, which often translates to higher social status and confidence, traits widely considered attractive. And couples who practice emotional awareness and validation experience higher levels of intimacy because they navigate disagreements without falling into stonewalling or contempt. So, really, taking the journey to be more emotionally intelligent is going to benefit you in more than one way. It'll help yourself better be able to handle and navigate things that maybe feel out of your control, which in the world, in the fast paced of life that we live in, it's very difficult to feel like you have control of anything. And so being able to let go of that, to understand and be able to explore the depths of things, even if you don't understand it, but to give and be able to hold space for someone or yourself is important. I believe it's important to, at least to me, be able to get different perspectives on a topic if I feel like I'm struggling with something. And so I keep my circle of people that are emotionally intelligent because they're more grounded in their viewpoint. And knowing that if this is difficult to find, but if someone's able to give advice for you, but with a different perspective, not always just something that you would do for yourself. But emotional intelligence is so important. It's so attractive. It's very rare with men romantically experience this kind of safety in a way that I needed, you know? And I'm forever grateful for that because we met at a point where I was ready to go back in, but I wasn't ready for anything serious. Like I wasn't ready to dive into something head on because I didn't want to lose myself. I'm still like very weary of that. I don't want to lose myself in another person again. And I don't think that I will because I'm like, I'm super aware of it. But I'm just grateful for so many people in my life that I've been able to experience this. My best friends, it's great. My sisters and I have worked on this together individually in their relationships. And it's just really cool to see. So here's something to reflect on. When you think about attraction, what are you actually responding to? Is it emotional safety or is it emotional familiarity? And what would it look like to redefine attraction based on what actually supports your well-being? I do have a video on my YouTube channel about the different types of intimacy. If you feel like checking that out, it's very informative because it's way deeper than society or the media would let on. There's more kinds of intimacy, and the more that you have, the more that you're able to build. And that's where emotional intelligence is helpful because they kind of work together. So if this space has been resonating with you, Be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. And as always, thank you for spending this little pocket of time with me. Take what resonated today and let it settle. Let what landed sink in. And anything that didn't quite fit can just rest nearby for now. Sometimes the things we're drawn to shift as we grow. And that's not a loss, it's alignment. Until next time, take care of your mind and stay rooted in your heart.